And here with another post-conference wrap-up with Margot Roosevelt from Time Magazine, is that right? Yeah, cool. So have you been to SEJ before?
Never.
No? Okay. So are you a member now? Or?
I've been a member for 10 years.
Uh-huh. And you've never been to a conference. What brought you to this one?
I was asked to be a moderator of the eating, food and environment panel because I've been writing a lot about food and
I was at that session.
agriculture.
That was good.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it gave me an excuse to ask my editors if they would pay, and they did, amazingly.
Oh, excellent.
We don't go to too many conferences.
Excellent. So what'd you think? What stood out to you? Good, bad, whatever?
There were so many panels that I would have liked to go to, and unfortunately they were all held at the same time. I mean, there were so many, I could have gone to 2 or 3 for each time slot. I was very, well, first of all, I went on the Thursday tour. I had been gathering string on cow power, and so that was useful to me to see the methane digester. And then we went on to an artisanal cheese farm, an organic farm, and I had, I'm based in Los Angeles, so I've been kind of following the artisanal cheese, and that was interesting to see it happening in another part of the country. And then, so that was a great tour organized by the Vermont public radio guy, and really terrific and very smart and articulate people. And then on Friday I was very moved by the panel on covering disasters.
Yeah, I saw you there. I wanted to talk to you about that.
Whoa, I mean, the Times-Picayune guy was just extraordinary, what they went through and the logistics of it. It was just fascinating. I'm in California, as I said, so I'm just waiting for the next earthquake. I moved to California in '94 after the Northridge quake, so I haven't been through a big quake, but I'm expecting it to happen any day. And it's also interesting. I asked about quakes at the panel because nobody on the panel was from an earthquake prone or had covered an earthquake. So I got up and asked about it, and afterwards, this is one of the wonders of the SEJ conference, I think, is that nobody really knew anything about the panel, but afterwards a guy from the Fish and Wildlife Service came up to me, and he had been on a disaster team for another agency, and he had been flown into the Northridge quake, the Mexico City quake, and Afghanistan, and he had a whole list of things for me to do, like buy an AC/DC cord for my car so I could plug in my computer, and just a list of logistical things that were useful. One thing that came out at the panel was that somebody said that in a disaster, I'm not sure whether it was New Orleans or where, that their cell phones didn't work, but their text messaging did work.
Right, yeah.
So that was a useful thing to know. I have to get, I mean, I just think that, and another person said or maybe it was the Fish and Wildlife guy, yeah, it was him, said get several cell phones with different services, because you never know whether Verizon, he said he'd been in a place where AT&T worked but Verizon didn't, or the vice versa, I can't remember what. So those kinds of practical things are useful. Then, what else did I do? I went to I really liked the aspect that you could learn stuff you don't know. I mean, I am familiar, I do follow probably about 40 different issues, so I'm familiar with a lot of the issues that were raised, everything from green labeling to, air and water pollution or whatever. So, and I know where to go if I'm reporting a story. So what was really useful to me in this conference are the things that I don't know that much about, which is, for instance, I went to the graphics session.
Yeah, Judy Faze was just talking about that too. I wish I'd hit that one.
Amazing, that woman from the Houston Chronicle. Wow. And also the Seattle woman. Fantastic, the things that reporters are branching out into doing. And their little tips about how to deal with the graphics department. It was interesting, the Seattle woman brought the graphics person along with her to do reporting. Now I can't do that because I'm based in LA and all the graphics people are in New York. And they're not going to go out to Utah or Nevada or wherever I'm reporting a story.
Right, but you know, some reporters use photos for note taking, you know, just to send that back to the office. I know Chris Bowman at the Sacramento Bee does that quite a bit. Yeah.
So, and the beautiful stuff that they turned out, I mean, for their stories and how it enhanced their stories. I mean, Time has an amazing graphics department,
Yeah.
but they, you know, and it's really coordinated and thought up by the editors, but I realized that I need to get more, you know, proactive in that too. I mean, I'm very picture conscious, but I need to get graphics conscious too. I'm really sorry I missed the online. I was closing a story in the middle of the conference, and I wanted to go to the online and the blog.
Yeah, that was the one that Adam and I did, yeah.
But it was just right when I was closing the story, and I was cutting it down, and so it was complicated. But I would like to see at the next conference more online panels, because we're going online in a big way on time.com, and we're really, many of us who had not written for online, many of us who had not written online before are now learning to do that, and it requires different skills and a different mindset. And I would like to see more of that.
Well, Adam and I are talking to Chris Bowman about doing maybe a one-day workshop or something like that. So that's not definite. That's just in the talking
California,
stage.
right?
Yeah. Yes, in California. Imagine that. Yeah. And so now that you finally made it out to an SEJ conference, do you think it's cool? Is this something that you would come back to? Or?
It is. I would like to. Our budget is very restricted, so it's. You know, I don't know if I'll have to pay for it myself or not.
Okay. Yeah. All right, cool. Well, thanks very much, Margot. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Okay.